Julie about the event, I was saying my angle on self-care is somewhat different. So I come from Russia, my hometown. It's a very industrial space without a lot of access to opportunities, without a lot of education around mental health. And when I was growing up there, it was really tough. I felt like I had no one to share the problems that I was going through with. I was really in my head. My only therapy was crying into a pillow at night. The other angle that I kind of really was a pain point for me when I was growing up is the lack of adults' interest in who I am and what do I want to be when I grow up. So I've had very few people ask me that question. It was more so, how can you make money and survive in this harsh environment in Russia in the 90s? I've never really actually stopped and thought, what do I really want to do? Although actually I knew what I wanted to pursue, but I was told there's no way you can have a life being an actor in my hometown. So when I moved to London when I was 18, I was just amazed by the variety of things you can do and the kind of support you can get here. Just learning so much about psychology, about myself, and also about what I want to do, what I want to create in the world. And hence my angle on self-care are two things really. So one of it is being present, understanding our emotions, sort of emotional self-care. So having that kind of emotional support when you're going through something and someone to talk about it, or at least to read a book and understand what is really going on in my mind and how can I get myself out of this very stuck emotional state. So self-care around emotions is very important for me. And second angle is having a fulfilling career. To me it means a lot about self-care because we spend so much time at work every week, at least 8 hours each one of us spends working. And how this has such a tremendous effect on how we feel, on our emotional state and on our health. So in coaching, I really chose this topic to focus on fulfillment in your career because I find that once you get this question sorted, there's so much more available in your life, there's so much more energy becomes available, there's so much more time becomes available for your health. If you really ask for what you need at work, or if you're happy what you're doing, or if you're not happy with what you're doing professionally, to really spend some time figuring out, just doing some kind of self-reflection. What are your passions? What are your greatest strengths? What are some of your weaknesses that you kind of don't want to be developing anymore, but you want to delegate some of those tasks to someone else? And how can you bring this together in a way that you can also be reasonably well paid for doing something that you love and that you're good at? So to me, this is also a huge part of the self-care, is really being well professionally. I think the advice I would give to myself when I was a teenager, discovering yourself. Like, what are you about as an individual, as a person who is different from others, has different values? What do you value versus what your parents valued, or maybe your partner values, or maybe your company values? Going on some kind of a quest. I call my company Wolf Quest because it's almost like a treasure hunt for who you truly are, beyond all of those layers which were piled upon us with school and work and parenting and social life. And it's really so inspiring for me to see when we get to the real person's values and the work that we do together, the motivation just goes like, phew. They get things done, they quit their jobs or they stay where they are, but they're asking for the raise that they need, no problem. Like, you just kind of get over all the bullshit, excuse my French, without much difficulty. When you really understand and you really kind of demonstrate to yourself that you care to know more about who you are, what is self-care for you, and at that point aligning yourself with people, with partners, with jobs that share the same values. So I was really blessed to marry this guy over there just in July this year, and we've been together for 3 years. And the thing that really fulfills me the most is that about our relationship is that we have very similar values of self-discovery, adventure, freedom. And I've never in my life felt more myself. I never in my life felt more empowered. Versus in the past relationships trying to appear, trying to kind of be aligned with other person's values and thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I should dress better or learn about French wines. Bullshit, this is just not. So it's discovering, accepting, and then aligning what you do with whatever. We all have difficulties and risks to take on the way of aligning ourselves with that. But it's the most important work you will ever do. So I'd love to know this as my younger self. That's why I'm so passionate about sharing this work now. For sure, like where I have still a journey to go is to learn about being more present in the moment and being more connected with this whole experience. I'm really enjoying all these different things that I'm doing, coaching and workshops and now speaking, but sometimes I feel like I'm moving through the motions without really kind of moment by moment just going like, oh, this is nice. Just really experiencing where I am right now, not feeling too happy or too kind of sad about it, just noticing what is I think where for sure I want to grow into and just be in that space more often, because all these milestones, I know they will not make me happy in the long term. It's actually being present to the journey. I think what's really where self-care starts for me is connecting with your body, like in this moment right now. Like you can all actually try it right now. Like so you're listening, but at the same time, you have part of your attention on your body. What's really going on there? And it may be pleasant, it may be unpleasant. And there may be emotion there. So honoring what's going on, checking in with your body helps you to honor emotions. And then you can decide what you want to do about it. Because if you don't express your emotions, they result in psychological problems, but also health problems. It's once you've checked in, what do you need to do for your own self-care? Maybe you're so exhausted, you need to cancel that meeting with a friend and go have a nap. Maybe, thoughts may start coming up that you really, I'm really hating my job, like I just can't go into that office space anymore. So see what comes up from there. Maybe you need some time to think through it. Another extreme is when you perceive there is an emotion and we just snap at someone. We just kind of put all of this energy, blame onto other people for how we're feeling. As women, it's very natural for us to go through different cycles with hormones throughout the month. And there are certain times of the month which I don't know what happens to me. It doesn't happen all the time, but a lot of the time I get very anxious or very sad or very angry. And the trouble is that if I take it out, I really do want to find something wrong with my husband. What he's doing wrong. My mind really wants to find someone else to be responsible for how I'm feeling. And that's a danger as well, because then we can be creating all sorts of problems with our colleagues, with our children, with our partners. So having that awareness that this is what's happening with me and my emotions might be a little bit volatile. So we've had a reminder put in our mutual calendar. It's what's called Bitch Clock, which kind of prepares, and it has guidelines as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that your partners will follow it, but just you have the awareness, you've let them know. And if they are loving and compassionate towards you and kind, they will ideally try and help and support you through that. So, but it starts with checking in with yourself and what you're feeling first. There's a really great book on that called Nonviolent Communication, on how we see what's going on with us and then express it to the world so that the world can take our requests more compassionately. Thank you. I look forward to sharing this with you.